Hola amigos, Red Pill Biker here. And a couple things have happened over the last 24 hours or so that kind of have led me uh, to talk about this topic. And the first one was I was cleaning house. Not metaphorically, I was literally on my hands and knees with a rag cleaning the floors in my little tiny abode, and it got me to thinking about how much things have changed over the last 5 or 6 years since my divorce and separation, and all the stuff that I no longer have, and how very grateful I really am for that stuff. As I tell people, I was able to begin my life of simplification because of the state of Oklahoma taking stuff away. A little bit tongue in cheek, but that's what happened. And then I read a comment from a guy who had viewed one of my videos speaking about one of his concerns about possibly ending a marriage is because of the stuff that he's developed. And, I get it. I get that very clearly. There seems to be some various phases through divorce and separation. The first is, there's a sense of loss because the marriage itself is dissolved. A lot of times you figure out that the other person never did, in fact, love you, and it was all kind of a farce. And then you start losing friends, and you lose family, and everybody seems to need to pick a side, and whoever tells the most interesting story wins. And since I wasn't willing to tell a story, I just left. And you lose all that stuff. But the thing, and it might be the one that we think about the most because it really seems to impact us the longest, is the loss of stuff. As I mentioned before, I believe, I lost a lot of stuff. And, equity in homes and part of my pension, and, it happens. And as I was cleaning my little place here, I started thinking, before my divorce, I lived in a 2,500 square foot home. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a really nice house. It had a pool in the back, two-car garage, nice little yard, beautiful neighborhood, American dream type of situation. And after that, I was able to scrape together enough money to buy a mobile home. And then after some research on the nomadic lifestyle, I even sold that. And now I live in a 30-foot travel trailer, and I have never been happier because I've simplified and simplified and simplified my life. And one of the things that's helped me, and I'm going to share that with you right now, is one of the writings of Epictetus. And he says, our possessions should be suited to our bodies and our lives, just as our shoes are suited to our feet. Could you run better if your shoes were larger than your feet, or gold-plated and diamond-studded? Of course not. Once you let your appetite exceed what is necessary and useful, desire knows no bounds. And the way I read that last little part there is that once you let the material shit in your life dictate your life, you become a slave to material. Your possessions now possess you. And here we are. We've got this opportunity. Society is changing. The structure of society is changing. Men have been basically cast aside and are, at best, are used as tools. When they need something done, they grab a man to do it. And then there's no gratitude, and then there's no legal protection for us. There's not much of anything. And so we have this wonderful opportunity to really dig deep inside of who we are and find out who we are, and quit being, as I mentioned in my last video, the disposable sex, and put ourselves in the number one slot and be concerned about our own lives. And maybe that is stuff, whom I don't judge other people. I don't know what kind of home somebody else needs. I don't know what kind of finances somebody else needs in their life or the level of their career. I just know that there's another option out there. And so focusing on that particular saying by Epictetus, I also started thinking, I've done some reading on the Buddha. I got a background in Christianity, and this is really what all the great religions and philosophies tell us is don't get too attached to shit. Don't get too attached to anything. Until you've gone through a divorce, you don't really realize what they mean. It's just an illusion. That home that you have taken such pride in, where you've painted the walls and had the carpet replaced and worked in the yard and grown the rose garden and added the room, all the things that you've done over the last few years, it's all an illusion. And all it would take is the movement of a pin from a judge somewhere, and it will be taken from you. And so maybe the safest thing is just truly to listen to the Buddha and listen to the Christ and not get attached to this stuff, because there is no stuff. It is just an illusion. It'll be easily taken away from you. And it may not be in a divorce. It could be a tornado, a fire, a hurricane, whatever. And so I would say to my viewer, look, there are some good reasons to stay married. All right? One of which is that you still are happy and in love. It could be for the kids. It could be a variety of things that may make rational sense, but hanging on to stuff just isn't one of them. All our suffering is from the loss of stuff. In other words, our attachments. Whether that stuff is a false belief in a relationship we once had, or in people we thought were our friends, people we believed to be family who turned out not to be family. This is where the suffering comes from. And then it comes from a home we thought was ours. Nah, it's not yours. From all the stuff that we collected, the financial investments we've made over the years, which are promptly taken from us. They're all an illusion. The only thing that's not an illusion is stuff that can't be taken away, which leaves us with us. The only thing that I really left that marriage with intact was me. And the cool thing about it is I spent the last 5-6 years discovering that person again. And I will continue to do it the rest of my life. But I like what Epictetus said, that our belongings should be suited to our life. And right now, living in this small RV is the best choice I've ever made. I don't miss the house. I don't miss the swimming pool. And you know what? I damn sure don't miss the people. Anyway, guys, life is hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Keep it real.